fissure here is called the
Longitudinal fissure.
longitudinal fissure, and we said we have different lobes, and these lobes are named after the bones. Okay, so this lobe is
Frontal lobe.
the frontal lobe. This lobe is
Varietal.
parietal. This one temporal, and this one occipital. And so these are the lobes, and we said each lobe has functional areas. Okay, so and we defined like this gyrus here as what? This one, the precentral. And what is the function of this area here?
Primary motor.
The primary neural cortex. What about this one? Just in front of the primary motor cortex.
Premotor.
The premotor cortex. And what is the function of this one compared to this one?
It's
So-
like muscle memory.
Conscious thinking.
Association.
It's an association area for what?
Voluntary
Remembering.
skeletal muscle movement. Somatic. muscle.
Okay, yeah, better answer. Do you have any?
Conscious movement.
It's this one, the conscious movement.
Voluntary.
So, this one is it's called the primary motor cortex, because if you wanna do something, like an action potential will be fired here, and you, for example, you'll move your arm, and you're conscious about it. It's this part of the brain here. But in order to execute an action, for example, in order to plan what you need to do to make a specific movement, there is steps, okay? So that planning is stored in this area here. So this area, it's kind of a storage of different different steps you need to do in order to execute one movement. I'll give you an example. For example, I see this pencil here, okay, and I know, my brain know I need to take it, okay. So in order to take it, I have my hand here. So I need to extend my hand. I need to roll my fingers and take it, and then have my hand back to me, okay. That planning, these steps are stored here. So this area will dictate to this area what these neurons need to do, what specific muscles need to be stimulated.
Initiates it, right? Is that another word for what you're saying?
So this one will stimulate different neurons, and these different neurons will stimulate different muscles at different time to do a specific task. See the difference between these two? So this one is like, let's say, the storage place of, in order to write an A, okay, you need to move muscle A, B, C, okay? So this area will stimulate the neurons that innervate muscle A, B, C. And then this area here just execute the order, okay? So this is the primary, because the muscle won't move if these neurons are not, if these neurons are not functional, and these neurons won't be fired if we don't have the correct planning stored here, okay? So this is the premotor cortex, and this one, the primary motor cortex. What about this area here?
Post-central.
Yes, and this area, the function of this area is the sensory. So if any sensory input gets into this area, we are aware of it, okay? And are we aware of all sensory inputs?
No,
No, why?
because sometimes it doesn't go up to the spinal tract.
Okay,
How to
and what?
filter.
Immediate
Because the thalamus, which is this part here, will filter will filter the different sensory inputs, okay, and will redirect the sensory inputs. So this is the thalamus. What about this one?
Thalamus nuclei.
Hmm?
Thalamus nuclei.
What is it? Interthalamic.
Interthalamic.
And interthalamic adhesion, and this area below the thalamus here,
Hypothalamus.
the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is in relationship with another endocrine structure here. What is it?
Pituitary.
The pituitary, okay. What about this part here?
Furnish. The corpus callosum.
The corpus callosum. And what is the corpus callosum? What is it? What is it?
Bridges the two
Connect
hemispheres.
to.
It connects both hemisphere. Okay, so if this part is damaged, both hemisphere won't communicate. So whatever inputs and outputs are in the right hemisphere won't be recognized by the left hemisphere. So there is like disconnection. There is no communication, and that affect our daily interpretation of anything we see. For example, we can see something, but we are not sure like what to do about it. Okay, so if if I'm gonna give you an example, it will be confusing. But just know these two hemispheres won't communicate if this area is damaged. Okay, the next one is, what about this part? The fornix. Okay, what about this here?
The choroid plexus.
Choroid plexus for third ventricle.
This one.
Oh, that's the choroid plexus.
What about this one here?
Is it pineal gland?
The pineal gland. Okay, and what about this part of the brain here? This region,
Midbrain.
the midbrain. What about this one?
Corpora quadragenum.
Okay, but if I'm pointing at one of them,
Superior.
the superior colliculi, and we said the superior colliculi is for what reflexes?
Vision.
Visual, and the inferior colliculi is for auditory. So the same structure can be, you can have it like this. You can have the model presented like this, and I can point at this structure here. Okay, so just have it like depicted in your mind, like just pictured, so you know whatever I present the model for you, you know that it's still the inferior colliculi and it's for the auditory reflexes. Okay. Now the next region, it's this area here, from here to here. That's the brain stem, and this part is the pons. This part is the medulla. Okay, so what about this area here? Hold on.